Hello, my name is Shannon Boynton, and today is November 17th, 2017 at 1 p.m., and I'm interviewing Andrea Codwell from Student Business Services. So say hello, Andrea.
Hello, everyone.
So, Andrea, can you please give me a description of what your role is in business services?
Very good question. My role here at Business Services is really just helping the students out in regards to their options for payment plans, just paying out their tuition, whether it be a full bill of tuition, room and board, meal plans, really just giving them the options that they have throughout the whole academic school year on how they can make payments.
Does your job require you to play into the customer service role? And if so, is that something you enjoy? Why or why not?
Customer service, one of my favorites. Having this position does entail that we play into the customer service role. When I hear customer service, I think of just laying out different options for the students. So that does play into the customer service role of maybe not just answering the phones, but answering students through emails. We have walk-in hours where we may have to set up some meetings with students to go over their options. So I do agree, yes, it does play into the customer service role.
What made you choose working at business services after you graduated from Concordia?
Well, after I graduated from Concordia, I was blessed with this position because I worked here as a student worker when I was a senior here. I actually called them to see if they had a position open. Unfortunately, they didn't have anything open at the time, but they called me back and offered me a student worker position to work here for the summer. During the summer semester, one of our representatives ended up taking another position at the university. So they interviewed me. It was perfect because I was already trained, just a little bit more training here and there, but really choosing it because it's hard to find a position after you graduate. So finding a position from the school that I graduated from was just perfect.
How long was the training for this position and what did it entail?
The training for this position was a little bit different for me. Working here as a student worker, I pretty much knew the ins and outs of what the what the office had to offer. So training for me was just going a little bit more in depth into our banner system. So one of the representatives that was actually already a full-time worker here took me under his wing and taught me the ins and outs of the business that I needed to know. A little bit more going deeper into the background of what Student Business Services had to offer, more than what I learned when I was a student worker. So it was, I would say, at least a 3-week process where I sat with him behind his computer. He showed me the different screens. We did mock trials with the phone. We did mock trials with students actually coming in because it's kind of different day to day. So we just went through a few different mock trials where we really just went through with the students of what we can do on a day-to-day process.
What do you like best about working at Concordia University, the school that you are an alum from?
What I love best about working here at Concordia is really just the atmosphere. My colleagues are just amazing. They make coming to work one of the best things. I mean, it's an 8-hour day, so you have to be prepared and you have to have something to look forward to when coming to work. So I would just say the overall joyful spirit of everyone that comes in. I understand this is an office where you have to make payments, but just that joyful atmosphere that my colleagues and everyone that comes in has to offer is what I enjoy.
What qualities do you think the right candidate would acquire for this position?
Ooh, that's a really good question. When I think of this position and the qualities that a candidate would need to have, I would think of 2 words, stern but yet caring. Stern because when it comes to money, there are certain deadlines that we have to have for our students so that a bill is not prolonged to the very end. You know, when it comes graduation time, you don't want to tell someone, oh, you have a $3,000 bill because it's been carried over time. So you have to be a little bit more stern with saying, hey, this is your payment date. This is when it needs to be paid. Not because, you know, you took these classes, but because we don't want it to build up on you. Caring in a way to know that every situation is different. We may have to extend a deadline because of a family issue that someone's having or because of money issues. So definitely being stern with deadlines, but yet being caring in regards to that a situation can be different for each student.
How long do you plan on staying at business services and why?
As far as for my term here, I have been here for at least 2.5 years. I don't think it'll hurt me to be here for another year just to get some more customer service skills under my belt, maybe learn something that I don't know about myself or about the business here. So I think about 1.5 years would be good for me to build myself personally and also build my resume. I think I would say a good solid year will be good.
What is your biggest challenge while working in business services?
My biggest challenge kind of touches upon one of the questions you already asked me of being an alumni here. Being an alumni here, I see a lot of students that I was an RA with, a lot of students that I actually studied with. So going into the system of telling them that they have a bill to pay and sometimes putting that restriction on them because they have a balance due, I can't lift the hold for them to register, that tugs on me a little bit morally because I've known this person outside of working here as a representative, but I understand that having this job, it may take for me to be stern sometimes and overlook my personal connection with someone and actually get the job done.
What is the positive about working in business services?
The positive goes into knowing people here. It's easier to do your job when you're in a comfortable atmosphere. So just knowing the type of people that go to Concordia, they're compassionate, they care, they try and help you the best that they can to do your job. So that makes me more comfortable and confident knowing that I can actually do a good job here.
If you had one word to describe you, what would it be and why?
Oh man, it's a really good question. I would say, to describe myself, I would say one of my favorite words, caring. I try and look into the good of every situation and try and help the students even outside of here. Aside from giving them options of what their payment can be, I really go above and beyond to extend that offer. Well, if we can't do this, let's think about this. Well, let's try and find a loophole somewhere to make sure that you're being covered on all angles. So I would say caring.
What's one accomplishment that you're most proud of and why?
One of my biggest accomplishments here at Concordia, working as a student business services representative, would be learning more about our international students. We've had a big wave over the last 1.5 years of international students coming from Saudi Arabia, India, just all places of the world. So I've actually been given the task to handle their bills personally. So I've been able to reach deeper into my customer service skills and really just work work with their bills. It may be something with wire transfers that's not common when it comes to America because we just use checks, credit cards, and cash. But I have to learn the wire system and fly wire system. So just learning more to build my customer service skills, especially with our international students.
Outside of Concordia, what is the biggest decision that you've had to make this past year and why?
Wow. Ooh. One of my biggest decisions outside of Concordia, it's a little funny, but I actually bought my first car this year. And with the help of Concordia, saving up was one of my biggest decisions. That to me personally was huge because it didn't put a financial barrier on me, but it helped me look more into financials for myself. So that I always love to learn things that I can pass down to someone else. So looking for a car, going through that struggle, those late nights of on cars.com looking for things that I like, helped me, store some type of knowledge that I can actually pass down to someone else while they're maybe looking for a car or trying to make a huge decision. I know I can say, well, I've been through this. Let me help you out and show you what I've done. Don't go this way because I had problems that way. So really just building that knowledge of something so simple of trying to look for a car is knowledge that I can pass down to someone else. Is a big accomplishment to me.
So last question, Andrea. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years, and do you see business services in your future, or do you see a different career path?
It's a really good question. I would say within the next 5 years, personally, hopefully married and working on my own family, with giving it kind of a time limit here of wanting to only be here for another year, I do see myself going into another career path. Hopefully something where it's on the other end of helping kids before they actually come to college. Like I said before, I'm really passionate about gaining my own knowledge and passing it down to someone else. So I want to be able to help kids on more information about loans, their FAFSA, other grants and scholarships. I'm all about getting grants and scholarships more so than getting loans. Try not to put that financial barrier on someone at such a young age. So I do see myself passing that information down. I guess it kind of ropes into 10 years because I hope it does go further than 5 years. So within the next 5 years, I would say hopefully working with a non-for-profit, and then within the next 10 years, maybe going into the actual school system to teach, maybe not even high school. I'm going to go into elementary schools, bring them up from a younger age. With elementary schools, I want to work in the sense of finding out what they want to do, what their hobbies are now, to build on their career at an earlier age, rather than getting to high school junior year saying, oh, what are you going to college for? Because I was one of those students. I was like, oh, where are you going to college? And I was like, not sure. Where are you going for? Not sure, but I figured it out closer to the end of my senior year. If this was put into me in 5th grade, I would have been able to build through it throughout the rest of my elementary school years and even through high school. So I could have seen a different career path for myself even going back, but not a sob story, can't go back now, but I want to at least give that to the next generation.
Okay. Thank you so much, Andrea. I just want to say thank you for giving the time of this interview, and that's a wrap.
Thank you.